And I think we're here.
Hey.
We look live. I see a Jamie in the chat. Hi, Jamie.
Hi, Jamie.
Jamie did our lovely Huntsman's Hydra logo, which you can find on all of our social media and down in the lower left-hand corner.
They did. Hold on, let me do a quick shout out.
I was gonna say, I don't know what commands we have.
Is it gonna work?
I don't think Nightbot's added to the channel.
That's important.
That would be helpful. And a Cosmo.
Hey, Cosmo. Hey. How's it going?
Yeah, I didn't just remember that we needed a stream overlay today. No, not at all. But we're here. We have captions. We have our names. I'm Ash. That's Red.
I'm Red.
And we're here to just have a quick chat and announce the channel. Cosmo, I understand you're not having the best day. I'm hoping that this makes it a little bit better since I know you were excited for it. Yeah, I'm just gonna... We've had a lot of follows since I've been hyping this up everywhere I could. Mainly just people we know. So I'm just going to do a quick generic thank you to everybody who followed. We're like, seriously, we're super excited to finally get to launch this.
Yeah,
kind of like
it's been a huge process.
Yeah, and what Red said on Twitter this morning, I have been talking about this for 2 years of launching something like this. And yes, we had to make sure we had pronouns. I need to add a pronouns command to Nightbot.
So, okay, I'll make a list.
So, especially now that it seems to be working in moderator chat. So we're good there. But yeah, so we're here to just talk about what Huntsman's Hydra is, what we plan to do with it, and what we got planned.
Okay. Hold on. I added Nightbot. Thank you.
Fuck you, Nightbot.
That command's here too.
Oh, perfect. I guess I'll start off with a quick intro for those who may not know me. Hi, I'm Brandon Ashcraft, aka AshenWorks, here on the interwebs. AshenWorks pretty much everywhere except Twitter, where I'm Ashen_works, and I'm a variety streamer and tabletop RPG writer. And now founder of Huntsman's Hydra, and I'm also an admin and member of the Found Family stream team. Red?
I'm MischievousRed. I'm a typical variety streamer here on Twitch. I do a lot of horror games, and that's just primarily what I do because I enjoy it. I am also part of the Found Family stream team. However, I'm not an admin, but I can be found in a lot of the stuff that they do.
But yeah, so that's our quick intros. With all that being said, I guess I'll take it away with what Huntsman's Hydra is. And Huntsman's Hydra is a what I call a multi-headed tabletop RPG and board gaming channel with probably more things on the way. And we're hoping to build up a community that talks about not just fantasy tabletop, but also sci-fi and horror as well. That being said, we will be starting off with our first campaign being a Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign set in a world that, if you've checked out my Twitch channel, I've been world building on it pretty much every other Saturday, using a mix of things like Blades in the Dark, Worlds Without Numbers, and even just normal D&D 5th edition world building. And we're going to keep doing those, but I think they're going to make their way here to Huntsman's Hydra. So, depending on my schedule for next Saturday, because I know we have some things going on, but I think those don't start till noon.
Yeah, that's right.
So, Saturday morning, this upcoming Saturday, I'll be doing another world building stream right here. We'll be hanging out, and I'm probably going to dig into Worlds Without Numbers because I need to get ready quickly. But But yeah, that's just one of the things we have planned. We also already have other members of Found Family reaching out, wanting to run games, which is really exciting.
Why don't you talk a bit about what the stream game will be like, or the D&D game is, like what the campaign is, idea that you have going on?
Oh yeah, so so the D&D 5th edition game is called Strings Attached. At least that's the tentative name, and it is starring MischievousRed, Convicted Pluto, and 2 more players, Saint Talon, and then I don't know what Phil's Discord or Twitch name is, so
I don't know actually either.
so we'll have to figure that out. But with those 4 as players, we're gonna start at probably 3rd level. Talking about that in the next couple weeks, and essentially they're gonna start in the capital of this country and find themselves where every deal has a cost, and there's always an extra string attached. Then, as they're moving through, they'll discover actually one of Red's old characters, Loose String, who is a Tabaxi Bard Warlock? Maybe?
No, she's just a bard right now.
Oh yeah, we didn't get her high
We
enough
talked
level.
about making her a warlock, but she's not there yet.
Yeah, so String will actually be running her own menagerie and is seeking help in getting exotic artifacts and creatures to keep in a very humane, I want to be very clear on this, very humane area, like pocket dimensions built to their specifications levels of humane. But yeah, so they'll start working for String, or maybe they'll just run off and do their own thing. It's kind of a more open world game than I'm used to running. So we'll see what they get up to. And Red, you want to talk a little bit about what character you're playing for that?
Sure. Put me on the spot. I wasn't sure if I was going to play Ember or not yet, but I'll play Ember.
You can also change later. We'll do announcements and things.
I think I'll play Ember. So I created her recently for D&D Jordan Lee's charity stream. She is a Fire Genasi Circle of Wildfire druid. So she is very much a cleanse it with fire type of person. She believes that there is a lot of that both the good and bad things are necessary for things to thrive, including entire like rebirths of things. Yeah, getting a feel for it. I like Ember a lot. Cosmo, she's pretty good, or she's interesting in the fact that she is so neutral about things. She likes to have I'm trying to think of how to describe it. Very much a anything goes, and that it's kind of just the way of the world to have both good and bad, and to have like law and chaos. Yeah, that's pretty much Ember.
Yeah, I think it'll be a very interesting group just based off what I've been hearing so far, because we actually got to travel recently and meet all the players in person, because some of them didn't know each other yet. So I know Convicted Pluto, aka LJ, is going to be playing a artificer, and then I believe Tom was thinking fighter, but I'm not committing anyone. Want to say that.
Yeah, Tom was talking about making almost like a WWE style fighter who's very like theatric, and who goes about like making a show out of things.
Yeah. Also, just as a quick heads up, while I think our newest follower, Convicted Pluto, your mic's popping. Hopefully that fixed it. But I gotta go do my normal Nightbot stuff, Jamie. I'm sorry.
Oh, I can do it right now.
We're definitely into trains, but we don't have affiliate yet, so we'll get there.
Yeah. Okay, Nightbot has been fixed. You also should be able to post links. Jamie, Cosmo, and Convicted Pluto.
Well, Pluto, to be fair, I don't think I actually posted the channel in any of our normal chats. Let's see. Question: how often do you think? Do y'all think there will be games run, and how many games do you think would be run at the same time? I mean, my goal is if there's a time slot open and someone wants to run a game, we make it to where they can. What that comes down to is, as we're growing, getting dedicated producers, or figuring out how to make it to where people can work with me on when they can actually run a game if I'm the one producing. I think right now we're looking at a max of 4 games being run at once. That's saying I'm running one, Red's running one, and then we have 2 people who have talked about running games.
To clarify that, Brandon, just to make sure I and everyone else is on the same page with that, do you mean campaign style games, or is that including one shots as well?
Oh, that's a good clarification. I am probably saying more long-term games.
That's what I figured. I just wanted to make sure.
Even limited campaign, we go in saying this is a 4-session game. Well, that's still something that's going to take up a time slot for 4 weeks or however long that is. Whereas a one-shot can kind of just be run whenever. Maybe we have an off week for strings attached, and Red decides she wants to run a one-shot. Then she can do it during that time slot or pick up another time. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, it kind of just comes down to how many people we get in terms of producers. I think that will be our funnel. Just because...
Oh, I was just going to say that's perfectly fine, Cosmo. We appreciate the questions.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I always love someone who's just chatting. I'm perfectly happy with just chatting on the stream. Because otherwise, I mainly just brought show and tell. Because we were planning on this stream being about an hour to an hour and a half, just depending on who wanted to hang out. Hi, Haley. Welcome in. And hey, Bane.
Hey, Bane. Hey, Haley.
Question: is Huntsman's Hydra going to be limited to only members of Found Family, both on the player and storyteller level? Player level, it already isn't, because 3 out of 4 of the players in my Strings Attached game are not Found Family members, and 2 of which don't even stream on Twitch.
Nope.
So there's that. At a storyteller level, also no. We will be putting out open calls for show ideas at some point, but will need to be an understanding that, depending on what kind of resources you need, we may not be able to do the game in the timeline you want. But otherwise, no, we're opening it up to everyone. And actually, perfect timing. Nightbot just posted the Discord. So if you would like to join the Discord community, we will be posting previews of shows, talking about some of the things on Patreon, and yeah. So yeah, Cosmo, to kind of roundaboutly answer your question, Huntsman's Hydra is associated with the Found Family Network. It's not. It is not a member in its own right. It's just run by members. So I wanted it to be a place where Red and I got to run the games we wanted to, but also can be the first stop for Found Family to host any tabletop RPG things we would like to do in the future. For instance, I know he's streaming right now, but Commander Pulsar, another member of the Found Family, has already talked to me about a couple games he wants to run in the fall. So,
I will say that, well, first to acknowledge Bane's comment, yes, there's a white fluffy. There's also an orange fluffy that you can kind of see in Brandon's camera, and the shark. At least he was there earlier.
yeah, he's still there, right there.
And then I also did want to say that what we really wanted to do is like just build a community around TTRPGs in general. So like streaming is a large part of it. I don't think that necessarily all games need to be streamed. So like let's say like very much like pickup games almost style, where if someone just wants to play a quick game of like to try out like Monsters of the Week, for example, or a game that people don't have that they just don't have experience with. We also talked about kind of just running those games on the Discord. And even potentially like having people watch on the Discord just to like kind of be involved that way rather than having like a whole stream thing. Because I also know not everyone's comfortable streaming and being on stream. So just kind of having that way of getting people involved too.
So Jamie actually got timed out for 10 minutes. But I have a question for Jamie. What tabletop RPGs are you hoping to see run in the long term on Huntsman's Hydra? So you look like you're looking at Nightbot, so I will. So yeah, a hub for TTRPG games and a go-to for Found Family, whether or not they're streamed. Yeah, it's essentially just a place to hang out. So let's see. I've already talked about D&D. Now there are games that I'm about to show that I'm not guaranteeing will be streams. They may be hosted by Huntsman's Hydra. I just don't know if they'll be streamed games yet. That depends on the players. First off, is Band of Blades. My camera is mirrored. But Band of Blades, which is Forged in the Dark system, just like Blades in the Dark. I've gotten really into this system, the Forged in the Dark series, and I want to run both. I actually owe Pulsar a Band of Blades game, since that's the copy that he gave me. And Blades in the Dark, I at least owe a one-shot for Jordan after the Colors of Change charity stream. So we'll see those for sure. I also have over here the Witcher tabletop RPG system, Cyberpunk Red, Aegon, and the Dishonored tabletop system. So lots of stuff I want to run in the fantasy and sci-fi area. Red, what about you?
I'm sure everyone's not shocked at all that my games are horror themed. So we have Liminal, which is a game that is a lot more open style with the way its stories run. It's kind of got like that secret society aspect to it. It takes place in the UK, and there's like academic wizards, there's like vampires, there's werewolf gangs, there's also like fae aspects to it. It's got haunted places. It's got like a whole bunch of different stuff, just kind of relate to like horror creatures that get explored, and it's pretty like I said, open in the sense that there's not really a limit on it. And kind of like in that vein too is like Monster of the Week, which if you think like Scooby-Doo meets like X-Files type of thing, where basically you're just hunting different monsters every week. And so these are, I think they'll both probably be more of a one-shot type of thing if people wanted to run. And we have Tin Candles, of course. And I would love to run a Tin Candles for You game, or a game for you, Cosmo. Tin Candles I also did on D&D Jordan Lee's channel, charity stream recently, where it's a apocalyptic horror game where everyone dies at the end and you're kind of telling the story of the survivors, or were survivors' last hours on Earth. And then Call of Cthulhu, which is basically just like cosmic horror. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I wanted to run with things. Fuck you, Nightbot.
Also, now that we have it, Here we go. Shout outs to quite a few people who
Yes.
I think without them, we probably wouldn't have gotten this up and running for at least another year.
No, definitely not. Everyone has been so helpful. Everyone that's here and then everyone else, and like Found Family in particular, has been so helpful in just making sure and helping us get this started and giving us that community that we really feel like can be that jumping off point that we wanted to have
Yeah.
to build a TTRPG community around.
Yeah. And kind of talking about, selfish long-term goal. I would love to see this and then kind of some of our own endeavors with our own streaming, because Red and I also both stream on Twitch, so check us out. If you don't already, I think most of you do. Speaking of people that
Hey,
help
Rafiki.
us out, it's a Rafiki. Like, my goal for this is that this is the jumping off point for so many other things. Like, I want the Patreon to be successful so then we can run more games, and then I want to make it to where just like we can grow in other things. Like, I've talked about this with a lot of Found Family people. Huntsman's Hydra was originally a coffee shop, and it still is gonna be a coffee shop at some point, because I want as much in real life as in the digital space that place to hang out, talk tabletop RPG and board games, and sip some magic bean juice along the way. But yeah, and like, Cosmo, we're getting you a new computer, and then I'm getting you on Huntsman's Hydra.
I will also say that I think that's kind of also what we wanted to try and do as far as like the not streaming games is I wonder, Cosmo, if there is a way that we could do it in Discord that would be less dependent on having a super stable connection. So for example, there could definitely be games where like cameras aren't required, especially for like one shots if
Yeah.
you're just doing it on the Discord for fun. And I know that with some of my other friends, not having a camera on helps immensely. And then that would take off the pressure with that. We can still be able to play games with us, still be able to talk with us, etc. And still get to try out like all the new systems and hang out with people.
Yeah. Everything we want to do, essentially. And then let's see. I'm also trying to get my Kickstarters pulled up so I can look at what other systems I have to run.
We've I think Killer Bunny was Haley, right?
Yeah, that's Haley.
But yeah, we've talked about opening like when we went to Dallas. We did a lot of like potential future planning for like where we wanted Huntsman's Hydra in the future and just kind of like the different options for it. And we talked a lot about different potential places to open up shops. And so it's definitely a long-term thing. And I hope that like the community will be strong enough that like we could do that and have a physical place where you wouldn't be dependent on like internet connection, and we could get even more people involved that way and more people involved in RPGs beyond just like the typical D&D, because that is like the common one that everyone does, and there's nothing wrong with D&D. Oh, well, there's a few things wrong with like Dungeons and Dragons aside from that, but like it's an all right system. So like getting people involved with other things and like having the resources to play other games.
And then actually I thought of another thing we've talked about. Talked about doing like a bunch of duet games.
Yeah.
Because we haven't gotten to do that as much as we've wanted to. Whether that be board games, like we talked about doing Fog of Love on the channel at some point, or just any two-player tabletop RPGs. For instance, I did a one-on-one Call of Cthulhu game with you, and it was amazing. And then I played that same character in our next campaign with some friends. So just try out systems that way.
Yeah, I think like until like, and this may happen right off the bat, but you just see the cat hair flying away because I have the white fluffy in my lap. Sorry about that. Until we have like those 4 active like spots and long-going campaigns with like different people who are leading them, I think that one of the things we'll do to fill time slots would be to have like those one-on-one games, those one-shot games with just like Brandon and I, because we both just like playing games with each other, and like we can come up with like some pretty interesting stories ourselves, and like we don't mind streaming. So it also, like, if someone else wasn't able to fill in and we couldn't get anyone else, there's still like content from that avenue.
Yeah. Actually, like, another one we have, maybe this would actually force us to play some more Magic the Gathering, because we bought a bunch of cards and haven't played yet. Not to call ourselves out or anything, but just like things of that nature. If it's something you can play with friends, why not do it on this channel where we can hang out, have a chat behind us, and go for a ride.
Also, like, there are so many TTRPGs. I know that Rafiki and Cosmo both mentioned that they are so excited about different RPG games. If there's an RPG that like we haven't heard of yet, or that we haven't thought of including, like, we're definitely open to hearing more.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many good systems out there that even if we don't like know it, always feel welcome. You're always welcome to like suggest it, and we'll look into it, or you could run it yourself. Like, we definitely want to have that involvement where it's more than just like us knowing and running the games. We want to have everyone feel free to like say what they want to write, say what they'd be interested in playing, or even if you have like a question about a potential RPG, having like us, I just lost my train of thought. Having us like help put something together for you. And help get that ball rolling so you're able to do what you want to do with an RPG.
Yeah.
City of Mist and run Star Trek. Yeah, I don't think either one of us could really run a Star Trek game.
Oh no, I could not.
Yeah, so having someone who would be willing to run Star Trek Cosmo would be great.
Yeah, or like another one for me is, I know a lot of people have talked to me about a Star Wars game. I'm a Star Wars fan. I do not know the Star Wars universe enough to run that Fantasy Flight game. It would just turn into probably my own version of The Mandalorian. But yeah, there's like so many systems that we've talked about that I would love to play in or run. Probably rather play in a lot of instances, that we could just talk to people, figure out what we wanted to do on the channel, and then go from there. And like Red's been saying, doesn't have to be streamed. While that's the point of a lot of what we're doing in Huntsman's Hydra, it's not the only thing we're doing.
Yeah, and I also want to say, like, there are different things that we're wanting to do to kind of get... Oh my gosh, my cat's sitting on my mouse. And she's going to time someone out on accident. One of the other things I wanted to do is I wanted to try and have that... I'm a huge proponent of like mischief and chaos for things, and so I like having that random element to games that's kind of beyond your control. And so I also want to hear things that we can do to do things like that, and to get like a community involved if we were streaming it, right? Like, since this is a community, even if you're not directly playing in the game, I know, right, Rafiki, it's shocking. With like, since it's a community, I want the community to be involved in the games, even if they're not directly playing. And so some of the things we've talked about different ways of doing that. So like, I know with like the charity streams, they have like pay for advantage, pay for disadvantage, etc., like things like that. I think having channel points, for example, like customized to games would be good for that. Or even like, I know there's also Streamlabs, which I use on my stream, where you could get different cards customized to a game, and so you could have a card that would like summon an Uwu Barbarian or something like that, where you could just have those that audience and that community involvement, even if you're not directly playing, because we want people to feel like they're part of Huntsman's Hydra, even if they're not directly playing.
And actually, kind of on that note, and something Cosmo's saying in chat, saying, I really wish Deadlands wasn't such a problematic setting. because the mechanics are wild and delightful. Let's talk about the fact that being a part of Found Family, and the reason I wanted Huntsman's Hydra to be a part of Found Family is because we also want to promote a safe space for these things. Like, fuck turfs, bigots get out of my chat levels of safe space. And that's where D&D, Call of Cthulhu, and a lot of these other settings do have problems that we're going to be actively working to resolve while running the game. Like D&D, for instance, has issues in terms of bioessentialism or racist intentions. I will be taking steps to remove as much of that as I can. And then, like, I know we've talked about Call of Cthulhu at length in person, Red.
Yeah, so obviously Lovecraft has some pretty problematic viewpoints. And so I have ways that I'm trying to like handle that with the game and make it less problematic. However, like I do recognize that like there's multiple philosophies on ways to handle that. Like there's definitely the burn it down philosophy and don't use anything with that. And anything with it. I don't think the system behind Call of Cthulhu necessarily promotes Lovecraft. Like I get that the Call of Cthulhu system, but I think you can take the rules that the system uses and change the background that it comes in. So like whenever I run Call of Cthulhu games, I try and not have I try to use as little Cthulhu mythos as I can actually. And I use it just more for the system itself. I run it more like an X-Files game almost, where like I had this one game I was running with it where it was called like the Enigma Institute, and it was basically just like investigating strange occurrences across the country, and they weren't really related to cosmic horror. They were more it was just the system that we played in. And I think that like there are ways of modifying systems to kind of get to that point. Cosmo, I entirely agree. Like I think that the rules themselves of a game aren't necessarily problematic. It's the background behind it, or the background that the rules are applied to. The rules are separate. Yeah, some more X-Files and cosmic horror. Okay, fair. I get that. I get that X-Files is like aliens. I mean cosmic horror in the sense that like Lovecraft cosmic horror. So it's still space related. It's just not Lovecraft space. So I shall rephrase that.
Fair enough.
Just to be clear.
And then yeah, like for me in D&D, it's easy because a lot of amazing creators are already making strides in fixing these settings. Like, slight spoilers, we've talked about running a Curse of Strahd game at some point, because Curse of Strahd is my favorite official adventure. That being said, there's a lot of problematic issues in it, mainly concerning the... God, I'm going to butcher this name. The Vestini, something like that. And then some of Strahd's habits aren't the best. But, oh, and actually, I have a couple people in mind for this, but the other game that we've talked about having run on Huntsman's Hydra is Vampire the Masquerade.
Yeah, I was just thinking that with Rafiki's comment.
Yeah.
I think that's another system like that in and of itself has had some historic problems. And I think there's ways of running those games where you don't encroach that. But I think I also definitely want, if anyone knows a system like this, I want a system where you can play the vampire, you can play the werewolf, and have it be like be the monster, I guess you could say, that people generally frown upon, and more personify them as like rational, intelligent creatures. Because I know, like that's one that Brandon knows how much I've struggled with this in D&D about not being able to play a werewolf, where it just sounds like I understand that the rules don't allow it, but at the same time, I think it could be an interesting concept in a game. So if anyone has a system where that sounds, or where that's possible, let us know. That's something I'm definitely looking for.
Yeah.
To the point where I thought about making my own.
Yeah. And then kind of going along, well, a kind of different direction with that is expanding on systems where I feel like the setting's really good. Because, for instance, like I said earlier, I have the Dishonored tabletop RPG, which I've not gotten to run yet, and I really want to. But after playing Blades in the Dark, I really just want to run this in Blades of the Dark instead, because I like my D6s instead of random reasons to roll D20s. But I'll probably do both. We'll see with this one and go from there.
I also just had an idea based on Cosmo's comment, how Faye recommended or said that they would talk to me about Vampire the Masquerade. I think it could also be possible, like on this channel, to have those types of conversations on like the different systems themselves and what their strengths and what their problems are. And kind of have more of like that just chatting talk show element too, rather than just live plays.
Yeah.
If that be something people would be interested in. Because I'm sure, especially like within Found Family and like other people, they want to know how to run games without being problematic and without causing a lot of problems. And by no means are Brain and I experts, but
No.
we could help. All of us could help each other become educated on it, and we could teach
Yeah.
each other by having those conversations. And having those conversations is important. Cosmo, we're on the same page, same wavelength.
Yeah. Mervin's Musings, thank you for the follow.
Thank you.
But yeah, no, Rafiki, if you want to play Blades in the Dark, hit me up, friend. Because also, we have an ongoing game with Commander Pulsar, who you may or may not know, as our GM, that I play every Monday. And it's tomorrow, and I am super excited for it, because I get to play my new guy. Because my other one's still in jail, I'm pretty sure. But that's the other thing. Like, I want to be able to run panels, kind of what Red was just saying. Run panels on topics, whether that be a specific game or like systems in general, because by no means am I someone who can talk about a lot of the issues in the tabletop industry, considering I'm a white male and have a lot of privilege going on. But being able to facilitate and get people on who want to talk about that, or even want to appear on other panels that aren't those things, because I know that's a big deal at every PAX, is like the same 5 people get stuck on the same panel because that's the only thing they'll approve. I don't want to be that. God, imagine a Huntsman's Hydra convention.
That'd be great.
Yeah. 5-year plan.
5-year plan, have a Huntsman's Hydra convention.
Probably more like 10, but
Probably a meetup.
probably a meetup. We could do meetup by 5, maybe a convention by 10.
Yeah, we could do meetups at different ones.
Can we pre-register for that con? Yes, Rafiki. You get 10% off your ticket. But yeah, just like I wanted a place where anybody could feel comfortable doing those things, and I wanted it to be a place where we could do a variety of those things. Huntsman's Hydra is a tavern. Anything you can do in a tavern, you can do on Huntsman's Hydra. We're gonna play games, we're gonna have fun, and we're gonna talk about serious shit, and it's gonna be great.
I will say that, like, if you do have any ideas or things that you want to have discussions on, right? Suggestions you want to have for the channel, like there are feel free to like suggest them in the Discord or even like DM one of us.
Yeah.
And we'd be more than happy to try and set something up for that. I think the Discord's probably the best place. That way we can have like a larger conversation with people about it. But yeah, I think that would be a good way, or like a good start to trying to facilitate those conversations, is to just do them on like the Discord.
Yeah. Like for instance, at least for the Discord in general, there's a support and suggestion box. So if you need anything, you can absolutely go there and let us know, or message someone directly. And I know I'll also be reaching out to some folks to ask if they'd be open to modding as we go forward, both the Discord and Twitch. But once we get all that set up, I'll start putting out calls like, hey, who wants to run a game on the channel? When are you free? And do you have anyone in mind? And are they in the Discord already? Because once we do that, then it's opening up to casting calls, making sure we have all the resources we can to actually run this game, and then get it set up in whatever means that means.
Hey, Brandon, just looking at Cosmo's comment about the logo and referencing overarching themes, it might be good to talk about like what your intention was behind the logo and how you came to that idea, and like what exactly it represents to you.
Oh, yeah. So Huntsman's Hydra is, I guess I'll start with a backstory of it and then go from there. So Huntsman's Hydra is actually a tavern that my first D&D character ran, back in 2012, so 9-ish years ago. And I opened it up with the intention of it being one of the few places in that D&D world where humanoids and monsters alike could just come in and have a drink and play games. And so that idea really stuck with me. And then going through to now Twitch, when I was talking with Jamie about the logo, I said I wanted it to look like a place for everyone, but the logo's a Hydra. So we decided on making each of the heads a different genre. So the one on the left is your typical Hydra fantasy head. The one in the middle is sci-fi / kind of gives me the cyber dragon from Yu-Gi-Oh image. And then the third one is horror. And that was because I wanted to represent what I thought were really the core 3 genres between Red and I, but then the idea being that Hydras always grow more heads. So if there was something we were missing, it could just grow another head. Maybe not fix the logo every time, but you know.
I can imagine having like 15 different heads on a Hydra would get very convoluted, and you lose details on each one of them.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that's the concept behind it, is that it is ever growing and that it is meant to try and encompass that variety of TTRPGs that exist and that variety of avenues. You want a hat or a travel mug?
Yeah, I was going to say Bane's the reason I've even been considering a threadless for it, which I need to talk to Jamie about at some point.
I mean, I wouldn't say no. I think that'd be cool as hell. I want that.
I gotta see who does hats. We could at least try to get patches. That'd be cool.
Yeah, imagine like a beanie with like a patch on it right here.
Yeah.
Look cool.
Yeah, I really want. I need Threadless to release the 2-sided printing because I really want the Huntsman's Hydra logo like as a pocket thing.
Yeah.
Bane, you may want to refresh. It's probably on your end. Since I'm only seeing things once.
Yeah, I'm only seeing it once too.
But yeah, we've talked about merch. I want more than just one thing on the merch store before I open a merch store. So I kind of want to at least get the D&D game started so we can start figuring out what all we want on there.
I do want to keep like a running list of like these suggestions though, and like suggestions for like improvement or like things that we can bring to Huntsman's Hydra that people would be interested in, because I think that's really cool.
So then we have 15 minutes left, so I want to bring it back to what we have going on in the next couple months. This month we're launching Huntsman's Hydra. My camera is mirrored in Discord. I don't know why. welcome in, Brown. Love you too, bud. I can't find the mirrored setting in Discord, so I may have to do that via Logitech. When I'm not making things last minute, it'll be right. But bringing it back, we're gonna launch Strings Attached, hopefully in August, if not first week of September. We've Between found family and our own stuff and vacations, we've been a little busier than I thought we would be.
There's been some big things happening.
There's been big things, like if you don't know already, Red and I are engaged. I feel like I should probably say that, considering we're launching a tabletop channel together. But yeah, so I'm launching Strings Attached, the D&D 5th edition actual play, sometime in August, hopefully. And then after that, we'll start working with everybody on what kind of channels or what kind of games we want to run. The Discord's already open. I tried to make all the channels I could think of, and then Red had a couple more.
Did I do it? Is that not it? Is it the Discord? Hold on. I gotta find the right command. There we go.
Yeah. So yeah, we do have a Discord if you want to join that and keep up with the shows as they're coming about. Also, the Patreon's not fully set up yet, but I went ahead and put a tier up so people could sign up if they wanted to. But I'll be adding in behind the scenes content and a lot of other things via the Discord for both general members and patrons. But yeah, let's see. Also,
sorry. Can I add something? So I want to have I really want to run a Monsters of the Week game or a subliminal game. So if you're interested in being a player in one of those games, I know Cosmo said that they were. Let me know, because I need more players than just Brandon. And that's something I really want to run for the channel. So.
And the moment that she has players for them, we start setting it up. So
yeah.
So yeah, we'll have that. I guess also Huntsman's Hydra is a culmination of everyone involved. So as AshenWorks, and it's my D&D world, I'm also saying Case of the Wayward Finale, which was the first one-shot run in this homebrew world during Punkapalooza, will be on DM's Guild as soon as I write it, hopefully this month. Cover art's already done. And then I still will be doing free releases on AshenWorks.com.
Oh.
Yeah. And then we have other fun things. People keep talking about this Dead by Daylight game, as a tabletop game, and I want it.
I have not heard that. Oh, the stuffed animal's in Audrey's chair, and she's very upset.
Yeah.
She was trying to push the stuffed animal out of her chair. Sorry about that.
So this happened. I think this was talked about a couple times in D&D Jordan Lee's channel, which, by the way, if you're not following D&D Jordan Lee, yes. What are you doing? Go check her out. She's amazing, like everybody in Found Family. I don't remember what night it was. We were talking about we were talking about Dead by Daylight as a tabletop RPG game, because that's how Jordan teaches new players, is by putting it in D&D terms. Someone talked about running it as a one-shot, and I was like, I want to know how they plan to do that and what killer they pick. Or if they make a new killer, because that'd be really interesting. Because I could see it being run as Monsters of the Week.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. I could see, so there's the overarching lore behind the DVD universe. But I could see you easily doing a one shot as one trial.
The Bumble Killer.
The Bumble Killer.
It would just be the Bumble.
Isn't there a killer that's already like that? I think it's it's not Candyman. There's the killer that is just it might be Candyman. There's just he's just a swarm of bees, and it's terrifying. I'm gonna look that up.
Have a lovely lurk, Rafiki. But yeah, let's see. I'm trying to think. I think that's it for August. And then I got a suggestion in my channel to run a Death House one shot in October for Halloween. Which may end up turning into a Curse of Strahd game. We'll see.
Yeah, Candyman is associated with bees. Sorry, just saying that.
Gotcha. Good to know. But yeah. Otherwise, if y'all have any questions, we have a couple minutes left. I'm more than happy to run over.
You made something,
Oh
Brown?
Lord, you made something for me. Where is it? And do I need to look at it on stream?
I will also say that, like, I know that everyone has a variety of different experience levels with TTRPGs. So if it's something that like you aren't as comfortable with playing with like a bunch of strangers, and
Yeah.
you want to like keep it smaller, like we're open to that too. We basically just really want to make sure people feel comfortable and included in whatever way that they need. And we want to make sure the steps are taken to have that happen, so we can kind of spread TTRPGs to others and find ones that they may be interested in, and find groups that they may be interested in. And so I guess what I want to say is like, don't be afraid to like reach out and ask to try and have like those types of games set up, because that's what we want to have done. Is we want to have games where people are comfortable.
Yeah. I'll just echo all of that. But I also think, so thanks to Red, I called this AshenWorks Unplugged. Oh yeah, Humblewood. That's a D&D 5th edition setting. I own the box set.
Yeah, that's one that I want to play. I've been wanting to play Humblewoods for a while.
Yeah, we'll have to see about getting that one set up at some point. But
AshenWorks Unplugged.
Oh yeah, we call it this AshenWorks Unplugged. If y'all, I really like doing just like a 1 hour just chatting every once in a while, kind of like a state of the channel thing. I usually do that on my own streams. So this will probably be, I would say, a monthly thing. I don't think we need to have it more than that.
I'd be okay with that. I think we could even have like incorporate it, like the panels into it too. Like if we could start like the first like 15 minutes or first half an hour of like a state of the channel, what we want to talk about, then have like that panel, or like vice versa.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. So this will be something that'll be coming back. Also, as I mentioned before, I am moving my AshenWorks world building streams over here, especially since it's for the D&D game on this channel. And then we'll be posting updates on all of our socials for things like when the Patreon's fully launched, how you can support the show, how you can I know for the first couple campaigns I'm going to be very not selective but careful with who's on the channel, because I want to make sure we are promoting a safe and inclusive space. But I would love to be able to do open casting calls for things, because I've seen other channels do it and I love it. And I still got to get Brown in a tabletop RPG session at some point.
Yes, that was who I was hinting at when I said anyone.
Yeah. So, yeah, Brown, we're getting you in on something. Doesn't have to be on stream, because I know that's not as much your jam, but we're getting you in on a game. But yeah, so that's the game plan, at least for August, is just get the channel up and running, get the D&D game started, and just get that content release schedule going. Red, anything you want to add?
Yeah, the only thing that I would want to need to do some games that are demographic focused as a future thing. Yeah, I think that'd be good too. I think that like as the channel grows, we'll be able to do more and more of those types of things. But we need help to do that. That's something that we're able to do by ourselves. So we want the community involved so we are able to do those things. But what I was going to say is just keep an eye out on the socials to see when those sessions will be going live, the schedules for those. I know Brandon's really good about setting up a schedule for his own channel and posting that on Twitter. I imagine he's doing the same thing for Huntsman's Hydra, where we post a schedule well in advance to try and make sure people know about it ahead of time. And we have to schedule these things with like 4 other people, so it has to be scheduled in advance anyway, and we should know plenty ahead of time. So just keep an eye on the social so you can know when to.
Yep. With that, I already have someone picked out to raid.
Okay.
We're gonna raid Commander Pulsar.
Makes sense to me.
Who is actually doing Lego brunch right now.
Oh, that sounds fun.
So Pulsar is building a Lego set. I can't tell off the preview what it is, but that's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that up. Thank you everybody who's joined. We are super excited to get to start this and see what kind of shenanigans we can get into.
Yeah, I can't say thank you enough for everyone who's been here today and like asking questions and helping us get this started. It's truly a labor of love for everyone involved, including the community, and making it successful. So I really can't say thank you enough. Love you too, Brown.
But with that, I'm going to go ahead and rate us over. So I'm going to throw us to our ending screen. Thank you all so much again. Keep an eye on, is it socials?
Yep.
Keep an social. Nightbot, why? Links. Link.
Find it.
All right. Well, we're gonna run out of time, so I'm gonna go ahead and rate us over. Check us out here on Twitter, wherever, and have a good one. Okay, bye.
Bye.